Ain't no half stepping Marcus J, live from the den, Legacy Internet Radio. Thank y'all for continuing to rock with us. Of course, all the times y'all rock with us, we will continue to roll with y'all. Thanking y'all for being a part of tonight's discussion. You're listening to the flagship show of Legacy Internet Radio. It's called Ain't No Half Stepping with Marcus J. 804-402-2893 is the number to dial to be a part of the discussion. We've been teasing off and on all night a little bit of an announcement that we have that we are going to share with you guys tonight. And so I think now is the time for us to share that announcement. I'm going to pass it over to my sister Q Boogie to drop that little bit of announcement that we got here on Ain't No Hashtag with Marcus J. What are we announcing tonight?
I'm the newest member of the Rockefeller team.
The Rockefeller team. You mean?
Today is training day.
You mean I gotta give?
She just want to say that, y'all.
Member of the Legacy team.
Do I gotta give you a chain?
Yeah, you gotta give me a
I gotta give you a chain.
Give me a short for 25
I gotta give you a chain.
Now you got to spit a freestyle.
I can't, y'all.
Our sister Q Boogie is officially joining the crew of Ain't No Half Stepping with Marcus J. She will be on the show.
That's what's up.
Every single first Monday of the month.
Yes.
First Monday of the month. So she'll be with us once a month, but she's with us on the first Monday of the month. So we're very excited.
So that's
to
how I'm
have
going to
her.
have to get still my joke. I got to come in on the first of the month.
First of the month. Wake up.
Right.
You know, it's the first of the
Still
month.
my joke.
Q Boogie.
That should be your theme song.
Yeah,
too.
wake up. Yeah.
No, because
So we excited. Your original, originally of Twilight After Dark, and after a little bit of a hiatus from radio, we had you come back for just a fun, quick check-in, and we had fun. And I said, please come back, please.
And I went, okay.
fell in love with it all over again.
That's the voice that works, huh, Mom?
Yeah, you like that?
Yeah, that's the voice
hopefully that
works.
wasn't too weird and whatnot. So anyway, very excited, very happy to have her. And as we, move forward through the next few weeks and months, I'm sure that we'll figure out a way to
I'm not coming
you.
unless it's the first Monday. For jokes.
Yeah, you got to come and hang out with Q Boogie. So we can have her fun and her intellect. You bring a different kind of energy to the show. And quite frankly, you make us younger.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You make us younger. A bunch of old folks. Old fogey
Man,
Gen
I'm not
Xers,
even talking
bunch
about
of
this
old fogey
ageism
Gen
I'm
Xers
facing.
up in here. You bring a feminine millennial vibe.
Right.
Y'all sound like my pastor right now.
You know what I mean? A feminine millennial vibe. And you like the first person to come in here with your whole head wrapped.
Yeah, that's what's up.
You know what? Truth be told, because
I
tomorrow,
never wrapped my head.
Tomorrow, it's fun actually. Tomorrow I am doing the big child.
I saw your post on Facebook. You gonna do the big child?
Why?
Well, I mean, your crown is your crown. You wear it how you want to wear it, and you know what I mean. But you do know, even if you don't put it on Facebook, I'm expecting an inbox.
I'm really just gonna. What I told my friend is what I'm gonna do when I actually do it. I'm just gonna hit the group chat, and just be like, ready.
Hold on.
So you're not gonna
big chop.
You're not
I'm
gonna
gonna show everybody, but I'm gonna show like the
The crew first.
the girls first.
You're not gonna do like the Sigourney Weaver from Alien Big Shot. Where you just get a razor.
I'm not that
shave.
brave. I'm not that
She went
brave.
all the way left with
She
that
just
one.
went. I've been watching YouTube tutorials all day, and I'm like, ooh,
So are you gonna have it done, or you gonna do it yourself?
I'm gonna have it done.
Okay, good.
I ain't
Because
gonna
if you
do
do
it
it yourself and then
It's
you
gonna
mess
be-
around and like carve like a cute boogie in your old head by accident.
Right? How'd you do that? I don't know.
I don't know, but it looked good though.
It look good though. My
You
rand's
know.
clean though.
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
Ain't no half step with Marcus J live from the Dan Legacy Internet Radio. 804-402-2893 is the number to dial if you want to rock with us. Now, President Donald Trump, he was someone who was very, very strong in his desire to repeal the Affordable Care Act. Some folks, the misinformed, call it Obamacare. The people who he got 217 to 213 to get it passed Many of them don't even know what the hell they passed. Want to know what I'm talking about? Take a listen to this.
Did you read this entire bill?
Have you read the whole bill?
Plus all of the amendments.
Oh, gosh. Let's put it this way. People in my office have read all the parts of the bill. I don't think any individual has read the whole bill, but that's why we have staff.
I will fully admit, Wolf, I did not, but I can also assure you my staff did.
Yeah. I wouldn't say yes, I turned through every page. As to whether or not I got through some of the details in some of the pages, no. But yes, I attempted to read the entire bill.
But you glossed over some of it?
You would too if you read through it, yes.
No, of course I had to have staff do that.
Ain't no half stabbing Marcus J. Live from the Den, Legacy Internet Radio. All right, so here's the deal, Q Boogie. Republicans passed the bill to repeal the Affordable Care Act. I'm going to go ahead and continue to refer to it as what it is, the Affordable Care Act. I don't like the phrase Obamacare because it's designed specifically to throw stones at 44.
Right.
So what's your thoughts on the fact that not only did they vote to repeal it in Congress, but many of them, some who disagreed with it and voted against it, but most of the people that we just saw were Republicans who voted for it.
Yep.
What's your thoughts?
One, I have pre-existing conditions.
You're a woman.
Yeah.
That makes you
That's
a
already.
yeah.
I am already
a pre-existing?
Right. By default, I'm a pre-existing condition. But because I am so transparent, I am someone who struggles with reproductive issues. I'm someone who has struggled with in the past and still continuously, in some elements of the future, deal with mental health issues like depression and anxiety. And I thought this was a major cop-out. One, you're dismantling this solely because of the predecessor. There was no real need to get rid of it outside of this black president created it, so it must die. Set it on fire and kill it. Like, that's really what you wanted to do with this bill.
Why do you feel that way? Because that's the easy.
It's
the easy statement that you'll get many opponents that will say to you, "You just being sensitive because you support the black president."
Right.
Now, if you was a white woman and said that, maybe not.
Right.
But because you're a black woman and said that, because you're black and you say that, then
it's automatically like, oh, you just.
Your credibility is not the same. So give me more. Give me some substance.
A bigger element of it is the complaints about how it was too intrusive. It was too intrusive. All the government trying to tell us what we can and cannot do. This came about because we had nothing before. This is the closest that we got to universal health care, even though it was still a one-off of it. And because of it basically infringing on the Republican ideal of you should just be able to pull yourself up by your bootstraps, it's just like we did, it was already offensive. So for you to just take it upon yourself to go, well, I don't want to help my fellow man. The fact that so many people, I'm not a fan, never been a fan of Jimmy Kimmel, but I can appreciate what he did speaking about his son. And one of the things that I saw on Facebook while we were talking about it was Jimmy Kimmel used his privilege for good. He has white privilege, he has male privilege, and he has, I'm not sure exactly how do you do this, but like rich privilege.
Right.
So you used all of that.
A lot of zeros.
Right, exactly. You use all of that to make a great point on why healthcare should be universal, why healthcare should be easily attainable for those people that don't have what I have. And the premiums for healthcare went up so much because so many people were upset at what Obama was trying to accomplish, and they didn't want anything to do. And then a lot of people don't want anything to do with having competition. Essentially. So
just take it across state lines.
Exactly. So me being someone who is electively unemployed, I run my own business. I can't afford especially now, to have my own health care.
Right.
So for a long time, I've been a recipient of Medicaid because of, even before I went fully self-employed, when I was full-time employed, I couldn't afford that insurance. And my daughter needs insurance as well, so we both are on Medicaid. And because of that, I still, deal with the symptoms of a pregnancy that happened 8 years ago. So it's like I still have to deal with those things.
It's real.
It is. So me.
You see, I caught myself twice,
He
Mark.
did.
Yeah, I
But
did. Proud of you, brother.
So I'm even for the day.
I
So
made my
since you,
penance.
since you got the mic, Grizz, jump in here. Give me
She's
some
absolutely right. Like when we talking about, I was telling the Uber driver, I was telling him like this election was all about emotion. It's an emotional election. Emotions, when people make you feel like your voice matters, then they can pull your emotion and just take you where they want to take you at. And so when you talk about somebody's health, it's the same way. Like that's going to viscerally, and I've, luckily I, got some insurance, but I can only imagine if I didn't when I was going through my health issues. So that's personal. That's life and death, and this DEF. I said that, but like so, for these guys to not even read the bill,
Right.
because they would say the opposite. They said the Democrats didn't read Obamacare neither because they was trying to rush it through. But either it doesn't matter. Read the bill when it comes to it. But I take that back. It does matter. Because even if the Democrats didn't read the bill, they were still passing something that would help the greater population as a whole. In this case, the Republicans passed a bill to take away something. Like they didn't take it. This is like one of the very few things, like prohibition. It's like very, very few things where they taking something away from you that the government's supposed to be, a law was passed to help you with, something so personal. So
here's my question, right? Where is the help? Like, who is being helpful here? Because
does the bill help?
Well, follow me for just a second. Give me a little latitude here. You've got the Republican Party that basically on its leadership level is comprised of big business and rich white people. And on its electorate level is comprised of middle to low class and poor white people with a few other sprinkled in there. Would y'all say that's pretty accurate? So when you talk about middle to low class people, and just forget about color for just a minute. We talk about middle to low class people. For the most part, these are people who are going to struggle paying some bills.
Yep.
One of those bills would be health care. If you're middle to low class, unfortunately, there's a higher likelihood that you're going to have some sort of health issues. Probably some of them be pre-existing. Those are the people who are voting for the people who just voted to eliminate health care.
You just cut off my free health care?
You have people who are you have people who are so in a mode of hatred towards Barack Hussein Obama that the phrase Obamacare was coined, and anything that came with it was bad. It didn't matter that you can keep your 25-year-old child on your insurance. It didn't matter that because you had diabetes, you can still get health care. Right. It didn't matter that you can utilize the doctor that you had before. No. Barack Hussein Obama was the one who pushed it through, so it must be bad. Right. This is where you have middle to low class rural white folks who vote Republican, which is typically against their own natural interest for whatever purposes they choose to tell you. To me, it is what it is. You vote for who you want to vote for, but whatever your reason is, these people are voting against their own interests. Yep. This is where you need to keep your politician and your personal feelings separate. Because if you vote based solely on a partisan level and based
feeling.
solely on a party, you are very likely to find yourself supporting people who do not support you. And that's sad.
Right.
It's very sad because now your friend, Billy Bob, who lives in a trailer park, and I'm not saying
Use
this
the labels, good labels,
I'm not
good
saying
labels.
I'm not saying this to take a shot. I'm saying this is some real shit.
Right.
Your friend Billy Bob, who lives in the trailer park, who's been on Medicaid or Medicare for a lot of years, is mad because he don't want the government to have so much control.
Right. I did.
He don't like social services, but he can't live without his Medicaid, Medicare.
Right.
You know what I mean? He don't think the government should be taking care of people. But as soon as they snatch his Medicaid and Medicare, he going to have a problem.
Yep.
And you know what? He more likely to call his congressman than the chick in Mosby
Yep.
or the dude in Fairfield or the dude in Curry's Woods or Booker T Projects
Right.
or Cabrini Green. You know what I'm saying? So this is where the bullshit of voting on a partisan line comes from. Now, Democrats and black folk, y'all ain't no better. Y'all ain't no better because black folk, what has voting Democrat done for us for the last 50 years? What has it done?
Eyes free.
I mean,
I'm joking.
you know, I know you do, but this is the problem with partisan politics. Now, hopefully, Mr. 3375, as I step off the soapbox for now.
Said that shit early.
Yeah, but I got back on. Hopefully, the people who are in the Senate will, well, they've already said that they're not going to pass what the Congress just sent to them.
Right.
Not the current one.
Not the current one. But they're going to mess with it, tweak it, play with it, do what it's going to do. What's your thoughts as I step off the soapbox? For now.
To be honest, man, he just need a stone cold stunner. For real.
He already got one, though.
I know he need another. He need another stone
He needs a
cold
real
stunner,
one.
man. Like
Boom, boom,
every
boom,
time
boom,
I
boom,
see
boom.
Trump, I just think about that clip of him and Stone Cold in the ring. It's like I don't care if you're a millionaire.
To
I
take
don't
a
care if you're a
Stone Cold
billionaire.
stunner to
You
a
know what I'm
president.
saying? But this is my ring. But Donald had that smirk on his face, like I'm Donald Trump, and he boom boom. He just need one of those.
That's the bottom line.
Yeah, he just need one of those.
Stone Cold.
This man is like a total like joke, and it's really, to me, you know, it's all about trying to erase what Barack did. You know, trying to erase.
Spite.
Yeah, man. Like it's just retarded.
Evil.
That's
That's
my whole
evil.
take on it. Like
You don't like any of these.
he don't even know what he's doing. He just doing stuff off the top of his dome.
This just perpetuates, like, I agree with the rationale, even though it's the easiest thing to say, but I have to, like, what other reason is there to take away health care from
Right.
people? Tell me what is the reason? Now, if your reason is the premiums and I heard small business owners and the taxes and everything like that, well, they said the same thing about Social Security. But you probably be the one to take grandma and take her to the home, you know, instead of don't look at, there we go, Marcus is showing it. Why you here to show what I was talking? Now I'm distracted. Drink a beer, give him a stunner. Look at this knuckle suck right here. Look at that. Oh, he took it. But for $1, how
I
much-
give it to him. He took the stunner
took
well.
it.
He took it though.
He took it. But that's
Like,
the
hey, if you take
Come
this stunner,
on,
we'll put your
man.
name on the building.
Okay.
for $1. Him and Vince are probably tight as thick as thieves.
Hey, look, but it took cool ass Bobby Lashley to be the one
beat him up.
to help him up.
Bobby Lashley probably look at that like, get the
Bobby Lashley.
Like, did I
help
just
him up.
represent this
you
man?
selling it. You selling the Stone Cold too hard.
He didn't even sell it that well.
Yeah,
He didn't sell it
he
that well.
just fell down. Like,
He
come
didn't-
on,
he
man.
didn't sell
Only
it.
person that can sell the stunner is The Rock.
The Rock is the best
The Rock
seller.
is the worst flopper of all time.
That's why. That's why.
Right.
That's why.
He get a slap in the chest. Oh,
That's what it is.
But nobody sold the stunner.
Rocky Maivia.
Nobody sold the stunner like that.
he would do a whole flip.
Ain't no half-step Marcus J live from the Dan Legacy Internet Radio. We're talking to Mr. 3375, Jay Grizzy, and our newest Ain't No Half-Step with Marcus J. show participant, our sister Q Boogie, who's going to be joining us on the first Mondays of every single month, about health care and about Trump care and about the Affordable Care Act. And, I think I said what I'm going to say on that. I'm going to transition to some other stuff because I do want to do some quick hits before we get out of the show. This is the last segment before we go into our final segment with our rants and with our closings. But the last thing I'll say on this is that, I think that, it'd be difficult for people to assume that a lot of the backlash against Barack Hussein Obama wasn't because of the color of his skin. Yeah, he's half white, but the reality is in America, you are what you look like.
Right.
Yeah.
If you look black, then you black. You know what I mean? If you look white,
you look
then
like a possum, you're a possum.
Then you're a possum. I can't believe I went there with him, but I did.
I saw a possum in the road last night.
You know what I'm saying? And so, you have a very strong lobby against President Barack Hussein Obama. Now, you'll get some folks who say, well, he wouldn't have been elected without white folk. And that's absolutely 100% true. 12% of the country is black. You need 51% for the country to vote for you. So obviously he wouldn't have been elected without the default race in the country. But the reality is a lot of people went sour on Barack Obama, and it wasn't strictly because of his politics.
Yep.
We would be very disingenuous if we didn't acknowledge that. This is why you have people walking around talking about they love the ACA, but they hate Obamacare. Because the Republicans have done a fabulous job of instilling fear in these people and telling them these people going to take away your guns, and these people going to take away your livelihood, and these people going to take away your way of life. Yep. You better rebel against them.
The Republicans
vote for
and
me.
the Russians.
Vote for me. Vote for me, and I'll make sure that doesn't happen. Hillary Clinton did what she did, Benghazi, lock her up, lock her up, lock her up. But these are the same people who are silent when you have very clear, tea leaves that are showing you what's going on with the current administration in Russia. We didn't even talk about, the woman talking in front of Congress today, how she got fired from her position, Sally Gates, who got fired because she was trying to tell the Trump administration, Michael Flynn is dirty, and they fired her because of it. Wow. And then a few weeks later, they fired him. You know what I mean? He got thrown under the bus. Yep. This is what they do. But I don't want to talk about this no more. #, Morris J. Live from Dan Legacy Internet Radio. 804-402-2893. Now, if you want to talk about that, then call us and then we'll come back to it. But like I said, quick hits. And I want to get off this soapbox and get on to another soapbox. If you ever been to college and you know anything about fraternities, man, this next story is going to get your attention. Yeah. This is the story about the young man who was pledging fraternity on the campus of Penn State. That's the same campus where Jerry Sandusky was filling on them little boys. Penn State that has some issues the last few years. I'm just glad that my kid ain't going there.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah. All right. So on February 2nd, 2017, pledges filed into Beta Theta Pi's Great Hall, which had the lights turned off. 3 brothers. Pledge Master Daniel Casey, Chapter President Brendan Young, and Ryan Burke can be identified by a light source in front of the room. Burke leads the pledges out of the Great Hall. Beta Theta Pi brothers send the first pledges through the Gauntlet, which is a drinking-based obstacle course utilized in the hazing ritual. Everything started at 8:56. We are now at 9:21. Timothy Piazza enters the Gauntlet. Casey hands Piazza a handle of vodka, from which Piazza heavily drinks. 8 seconds later, Nicholas Cabrera hands Piazza beer, which he shotguns. At 10:30, pledges emerge from Beta Theta Pi's basement and are visibly intoxicated. So now we're looking at about an hour and a half has passed. Beta Theta Pi brothers Lars Kenyon assists Piazza, who was staggering and hunched over to a couch in the Great Hall. He encourages Piazza to stand up and assists him in walking through the dining hall room kitchen before returning to the living room. Piazza is visibly intoxicated during this endeavor. At 10:45, Piazza stands up unassisted and staggers towards the front door, which he fails to open. Piazza heads towards the basement steps, passing Jerry Coyne and Luke Visser on the way. Piazza then falls down the basement steps. Cameras located in the basement did not record on the night in question, according to 10 documents, court documents. At 10:47, it's about almost 2 hours after this started, Piazza is carried back up the steps by Ryan Burke, Luke Visser, Greg Vizzo, and Jonah Newman.
Hold up, he's still conscious?
Piazza is limp and has visible bone bruise on his abdomen. The brothers place Piazza on the couch. When Rizzo attempts to administering a sternum rub to him, he is unresponsive. Rizzo dumps liquid on Piazza's face. Piazza does not respond. Following this, Burke lifts Piazza's arm, which immediately falls back to Piazza's chest. Kind of like, not making a joke here, but this is kind of like with wrestling where you would see the 3-arm drop.
Yeah.
It's a similar thing. Jonah Newman retrieves a backpack at 10:55, which he attaches to Piazza. At 11, Ryan Foster sits himself at Piazza's feet in order to prevent Piazza from rolling over. So now it's well over 2 hours. It's over 2 hours. Newman sits on Piazza's leg to prevent him from moving. I'm going to skip down, and I'm going to get a little bit later here. At 11:53, Rizzo sends the following group message. Also, Tim Piazza might actually be a problem. He fell 15 feet down a flight of steps, hair first, going to need help. This is at 11:53 p.m. Okay? Now it's 1 o'clock in the morning. Brothers in the room observe Piazza vomit and twitch on the couch. He's surrounded by Foster, Coyne, and Ems, who backpack Piazza to prevent him from rolling on his back if he passes out. Okay. So, again, I'm skipping ahead because it's too much, and I just want to get to the point here. It's 3:22 a.m. now. Piazza attempts to regain his feet, and Coyne is nearby. Piazza falls backwards and strikes his head on the hardwood floor. Coyne shakes him for movement, then leaves the room. At 4:59, Piazza stands and staggers towards the lobby. Seconds later, he falls into an iron railing. He gets up again and attempts to go to the front door, but falls head first into the door. At 6:45, Beta Theta Pi pledge Kobe Keanu enters the Great Hall. Piazza is on the floor. At 7:18, Piazza stands again and staggers towards the basement steps. At approximately 10 a.m., Erickson and Pesci search for Piazza. Eventually, Eric discovers him beyond the bar. They and another brother carry Piazza up the stairs, place him on the couch in the Great Hall. Following this, brothers shook an unconscious Piazza. The brothers also covered him with a blanket, wiped his face, and attempt to dress him. At 10:48, Beta Theta Pi brother calls 911. McCann never tells the dispatcher, brother Ryan McCann never tells the dispatcher that Ryan fell down the stairs the previous night. At 1:23 the next day, Piazza is pronounced dead at the medical center. All of us have been to college on different stages, different levels. So we have a little bit of an idea whether we've pledged or not. You know, I'm not in a fraternity, but I've been very clear. I'm a Mason. So I know what some of this stuff goes. My brother, Mr. 3375, is also a Mason. So he understands a little bit about this. I can't speak for Q Boogie or Jay Grizzy. You speak for yourselves. But we know a little bit about what initiation is about.
Right.
Not hazing,
Right.
but initiation.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give Q Boogie, because you the lady, and I've been coming to you first all night. I'm going to give you an opportunity to talk. I'm having a hard time with this one.
Yeah.
Talk to me. What's your thoughts?
No, I'm not a part of any sororities, but I have friends that are. I have friends that are Zeta. What are the other ones called?
Zeta, Delta, Sigma, Theta,
Delta.
Alpha, Kappa, Alpha.
Yeah, I have a cousin that's in what's that thing called? Lord have mercy. I have a cousin that's a Delta, friends that's a Zeta, friends that are Sigma, Gamma Rho. My pastor himself is a Kappa. I have friends that are Alphas, all this other stuff. So I had a friend of mine when she was originally pledging tell us about the things that they would have to go through for the, I guess, sanctity of sisterhood. And it's comparatively nothing compared to this. Because I've never gone through it, and I can't see myself putting myself through that just to be essentially down. for a cause or for a movement or for brotherhood or whatever, in my brain, I'm like, this does not constitute brotherhood. This does not constitute being there for each other. Let us put you through as much hell as we possibly can to prove that you will be down for us. That, to me, is just backwards. I don't have a whole lot to say about it because I'm not affiliated with any sort of like fraternity, sorority, any sort of like group that I readily go to meetings for. But I was part of Eastern Star when I was younger. I was a part of Girl Scouts, part of all these different things. And going through initiations and being hazed are two different things. There have been too many kids that have died.
Yeah.
Band sororities and fraternities just to be down for something. And the scarier thing is being that kid that's like, I just want to be a part of something so badly.
Did they take anything?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the scary thing for me. Like, I want to be a part of this so badly that my comfort, my life, my livelihood are second nature. That it's on the back burner.
Thievery.
Right.
It's still in the boy's life. He was,
Right.
how old was he?
Right. I know.
19.
19. This is a
Yeah.
boy.
Yeah. We touched on this yesterday on Reconcile Differences with Big Roo. You catch him at 3:30 every Sunday. We touched on this for about 30 minutes, and I was just amazed that when he fell down the steps, nobody at that point in time didn't decide to call 911. These supposed to be your brothers. You know, brothers for a lifetime. You know, me, Marcus, we brothers for lifetime. You know, so nobody passed out. Nobody still didn't dial 911.
Right.
You know, hurt, bruises, tried to stand up for about 5 minutes, fell back down, still no call, 911.
Right.
You know why? Because it probably was a lot of underage drinking.
Yeah.
Nobody wanted to hold themselves accountable for what happened, and in that chapter, and what's going to happen in the aftermath. Because like I told Ruben yesterday, they broke it down from time.
Yeah.
From time, so it was recorded.
Somewhere.
It's on camera.
Oh, it is?
Because he broke it down from time.
Everything.
Oh, I thought he was getting it from a news report.
No, everything that I just read came from
The recording.
the video.
Right.
Because these people,
Right.
dummies, had surveillance
Right. Yeah, that's where I
in
was
there.
going.
Right.
So everything in there is timestamped,
Right.
Mr. 3375.
Right. So he sent it in a group chat. Didn't call 911, but he sent a group text.
Which is even worse.
Right.
Yeah.
I was in college. I experienced something similar to what you described. I'm just getting the story firsthand. Hearing it tonight, I don't even know half stepping. But when I was drunk and passed out, I was in Rhodes Hall in a shower stall, and my boys, I would say 4 of them, they didn't come. They came and checked on me,
Right.
but they didn't do anything, and I was out of it. You know, so not to excuse the behavior, because I'm sure if I didn't come to that day, then my boy would have took me to the hospital. It's not going to let it. Sounds like this happened over a period of 48, 2 days, 3 days?
It was about a little over 12 hours.
Yeah.
So a day and a half.
But here's where I think it's a little bit different. And, you know, while we are transparent on the show here, you know, oftentimes there's certain things that I don't tell you because, frankly, ain't none of your damn business. So I don't want you to know. But there's certain things that I will share.
It's a secret, everybody.
Everybody that I can speak of, except for Cute Boogie, because she don't drink. I've tried. She won't drink.
Nope. Ain't doing
Peer pressure. Don't work. Don't work. But
Ginger ale.
we've had circumstances where we've had too much to drink.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Well, like we ain't got to over exaggerate it. We've had situations we've been drunk. We've had too much to drink, and whoever we've been around us, in my situation, I was always taken care of.
Yeah.
Because you don't have the faculties to be able to take care of yourself when you've become inebriated. That's why they tell you don't freaking drive a car.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so if you can't walk straight and you take a tumble down the stairs and your boy's reaction not even just your boy, just a human being. His reaction to seeing you coughing up blood is to think about how to keep themselves from getting in trouble for what just happened to you. That to me is the worst possible human being.
Right.
And whatever charges they've been given and whatever consequence the jury and the judge decides should befall them, I hope it's severe. I absolutely hope it's severe. 18 people were charged with something. 18 people were charged with something. That means there were 18 people who were around that could have done something that would have saved this young man's life.
Right.
18. Not one of these people stood up and said, you know what?
Something ain't right.
Forget the fraternity. This is a guy who is in distress. He just fell down the stairs.
Yeah.
Not only did he fall down the stairs, but when y'all picked him up and put the backpack on him and he tipped over, he fell over a couple times and hit his head.
Yeah.
And it's noticeable. I'll be honest with you, man. I can't imagine there being any penalty less than decades in jail,
Right.
prison,
Right.
for everybody involved.
Right.
Because they say that if you riding around with somebody, if I'm riding around with Mr. 3375 and I go commit a crime and he's with me and he don't stop me or he don't call the cops, guess what? He's guilty.
I'm accessory.
He's an accessory to that crime. 17 people were accessory to that dean because, again, there's always a dean for those folks that are pledging fraternities. Again, speaking
Right.
in college lingo, there's a guy that's in charge.
Right. He's done.
He's the guy that's in charge. He's the dean.
Right.
He's the one in charge. 17 people complicit in all of that.
Right.
happening.
And the chapter's gone. That chapter was.
Well, there's already
Yeah.
they've already said that.
Yeah, that chapter.
They've already said that. Sad story, and I don't know what else to say about it. I think we've all kind of said our piece, and I think we agree. There's no dissension here. Ain't no hashtag with Marcus J live from the Dan Legacy Internet Radio. Last thing I want to get to, Grizz, you up first. I think they need to start taxing churches.
Yep. I agree. 100%.
But then if you talk, okay, I that's my first reaction was, so I don't care. But then I thought about it and said, then that would give the church a lot more say. I won't say clout, but a lot more say in their political activities because they pay in taxes.
Well, that's
We just had the Citizens United pass where they say money is speech now. And let's think about all these religions we got, or special religions that we claim because we're in the greatest country in the world, America, so to speak.
Are we?
No, that was my attempt at being sarcastic,
Right.
but it totally failed. It totally failed. But I mean, like, the church, once they get taxed, they can't do whatever they want.
that's what
But I don't want my government. It's already too close for comfort now.
Right.
Government and church should stay separate.
But the president just pushed, the same president that was
Right.
pushing for a Muslim ban
Right.
months ago is now just signed an executive order
Right.
that will aid in the separation of church and state, which will allow churches to now endorse. That was a whole issue
Right.
with why they signed the bill years ago to make it so that churches were separated and they kept their tax exempt status to keep them from endorsing
a candidate.
candidates.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We didn't want them political. We didn't want
Right.
the black church to be telling people to vote for Barack Obama.
Right.
Even though they still do.
Even though they still did, but you couldn't outwardly do it.
Right,
You
you
didn't.
couldn't,
You didn't want the
Couldn't
church to
sign
say-
a check.
You didn't want the church to sign a check to Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So why not tax them?
Yeah.
Why not?
And part of the political, that's where it was built on. If you look at the church, the history of the church, the government back in Roman times didn't make a decision without the church input.
Right.
Right. So why not? Why not tax them?
Well,
They making too much money not to get taxed. They ain't doing nothing else with
I
it.
mean, they gonna
but buying
make money.
planes and mansions and stuff.
I think the making
what I'm
money
saying?
part
Right.
kind of goes hand in hand with the taxes. I was gonna say it was gonna be a different point, but it's all. I mean, I don't care if they tax or not tax. I just know if you tax them, then next thing you know, you're gonna have a alt-right Christian party with money, or you can have I'm the Jehovah Witness party, or I'm the, whatever. Like, and I'm just pulling religions or different parts of religions out of my head, but I mean, it goes into a bit. Now I'm thinking like it goes down a bigger rabbit hole. Like, what's money into politics?
Right. So you think? Do you believe? Like me, in my opinion, I believe that religion is part of the government anyway. They run in the government anyway. Because that's what religion. A lot of these wars is about. I don't think it's over money and all that thing. It's religious wars.
Which war have you ever seen?
I don't think I don't think none of the leaders of the world are that far-fetched thought. Are that intelligent. I'm thinking because we got Donald Trump as president. I don't think that they would think it that far.
Which war had you ever seen in the history of time that didn't have religion somewhere in it?
Right.
Basically.
Yeah, but
like all the biblical wars, everything. We're doing this in the name of Jesus.
The current war that we fight right now is an Islamic jihad.
Right.
There's always religion in the middle of it. The whole point of America being in existence was because people in England wanted religious freedom.
Right.
They had some funny ass hats.
That's why they came. That's why they came here.
Because they have funny ass hats
and wigs.
They wanted the freedom to wear the funny hats.
But see, that's the bullshit. That's the whole thing about how we allow ourselves to be snowed by this kind of stuff. We live in a country where they say separate church and state out of one side of their mouth. Out of the other side of their mouth, they say that we're a country of religious freedom.
Yeah.
Right.
Out of the other side of their mouth, they say we want to have a ban on Muslims. Donald J. Trump is proposing a complete and total ban of Muslims coming to the United States. Do you remember when he said that?
Yep.
He said that, and I'm paraphrasing, but he said it. He said it almost verbatim.
Yeah.
So today, my administration is leading by example as we take historic steps to protect religious liberty in the United States of America.
Right.
We will not allow people of faith to be targeted, bullied, or silenced anymore, and we will never, ever stand for religious discrimination, never, ever. This is the same guy who wants to ban Muslims from coming to this country.
When has that happened when you are not, if you are not a white Christian person, when have you been outwardly afflicted with your religion?
But this is this is how Ain't No Half Step on Marcus J tonight comes full circle, because the first story we talked about alluded to white privilege. So you have the privilege of not only being white but being Christian.
Right.
That is the privilege. That is the default. If you're anything other than white Christian, then you could potentially be a problem depending on how you act.
Right.
If you don't act how we want you to act, we gonna deal with you.
Right. And like during election season, where is the first place they go to try to get votes?
Of course.
Church. You know what I'm saying?
Because we're sheep.
You know what I'm saying? So it's all tied in, right? I'm all for tax.
But you know what's crazy about that? They go to the church, but they can't endorse nobody.
Right.
The church can't endorse nobody.
do nothing.
But the candidate can come in there and speak.
Right. That's endorsement. Because they will only have that one party. They don't have. You don't see like at my church. You don't see a Democrat and a Republican coming. You see all Democrats coming to that particular church.
Yeah.
That's endorsement.
That's endorsement.
And it's
a silent endorsement.
Basically, it's like it's endorsement that's plain sight.
Exactly.
Like,
So back to the original question, Q Boogie: should we be taxing churches? Because you do realize if we start taxing churches, your tax, your tax, and your tax, and my tax inevitably will go down. Our percentage, because it's going to be so much money. Damn it, we putting so much money in the church.
Spending.
We're putting so much money in the church. We're going to get our money back by having lower taxes.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I ask again, should we start taxing churches?
I
believe,
think so.
yeah. I agree.
I was watching John Oliver. I love Last Week Tonight. It's one of my favorite joints.
He's got a potty mouth.
I love it. He's so great. But he had one about a year or so ago, almost 2 years ago, where he talked about televangelists. And it's funny that you talked about the they could buy jets and mansions and all this other stuff. When the dudes got on there, when the televangelists got on TV, it was like, I had enough money to buy a so-and-so's such and such jet, cash. And everybody was looking at him like,
Cash, man. Who?
Yeah.
You had cash on hand to buy a jet, and then he bragged about it and said, "Oh well, yeah. When I want that jet no more, I got this jet 2 years after." And it's
Stunned on him.
Yeah.
who is this helping? Like, all right, I've been
Jesus want me to stun on you.
exactly. Jesus want me to let you know that you ain't
Jesus
shit.
was walking sandals and a cloak.
see how I went into my-
Jesus used to dress like Luke Skywalker. okay?
WWE slick.
You know what I mean? you know.
That ain't my Jesus.
Jesus want me to stun on you.
Right, that ain't my Jesus.
Well, he twisted his pinky ring. Like,
Right, but meanwhile, we don't want to talk about the Jesus that went in there and flipped tables. We don't want to talk about that
Right.
one, the one that preaches love and all those other things. We don't want to talk about that Jesus. Our Jesus is the one that wants to tell you, screw your sick kid, because Jesus didn't have time for your pre-existing condition.
What's that
But you know what's crazy about
Benny
that?
had the
I was
funniest.
with somebody today, and we were joking. We were. So I'm getting ready to tell the story. I'm gonna make it a little bit serious, but this came out of a conversation in jest. But the person said God don't like ugly. And I
Amen.
don't like that phrase. I really don't. You know why? Because if I'm supposed
That
to
had come from
believe,
slavery.
because if I'm supposed to believe that God loves everybody,
guilt
then why
trip.
wouldn't God love ugly?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like we put Jesus and Martin Luther King on these unreasonable
I
pedestals.
don't think they do that.
Martin
no more.
Luther King.
You know what I'm saying? Martin Luther
I
King.
thought he was gonna say
Martin
put
Luther-
him on the mantelpiece.
Martin Luther King.
Right beside each other.
Martin Luther King was. He was a man. He was flawed. He had girlfriends. He smoked cigarettes.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Kinky.
He was flawed. You know, and honestly, if Jesus really did walk the land like they say he did,
He did.
you know, I get that he was God's son. I get it.
Flowed on
I
water.
get it, right? But the shit that was going on had to piss him off.
That's why he went in there and flipped tables. Like, let me tell you.
I know. And, you know what I mean? And he fed the hood with just a little bit of bread.
He had a fish fry.
That's how
the
you-
first fish fry we got on record.
That's how you know he was black.
Jesus was like, God got me to come down here and save you sons of bitches.
Y'all make me sick.
Y'all hate all of y'all.
I hate all y'all.
God bless you.
Yeah. Hey, look, come on here and
Y'all
get this
piss me
food.
off.
Come on here and get
Come
this
over and
food.
get this
My
plate.
dad, don't
If I
make me
smack
come
y'all
outside. My
straight.
dad holding me
But
back.
you know what? Every community center in America got a Jesus figure.
Absolutely.
They all do. And we talk about this kind of stuff in jest. But for me, if you so in your feelings that you can't laugh about your religion, then you listening
Yeah.
to the wrong
Wrong
damn
show.
show. And you know how Step with Marcus J, live from the Den, Legacy Internet Radio. We're going to take our final break of the night. We're going to come back and we're going to say some stuff that's probably going to piss y'all off. We call that rants and closings. I got Mr. 3375, Jay Grizzy, and Q Boogie. I'm me, the host of the show. Ain't no half stepping with me and you, the crew. We'll be back in a few.
What's up, y'all? This is your man K-Dub, and when I'm down on 285 down in Atlanta, GA, maybe on I-64 in Newport News, Virginia, or maybe I'm in Jersey City catching that light rail headed downtown to go into NYC, I'm always plugged in to Legacy Internet Radio, listening to Ain't No Half Stepping with my man Marcus J. Check it out, y'all. Peace.